9:15 on Friday, October 21st, 1966. After several days of rain, the small Welsh community of Aberfan changed forever. Thousands of tons of colliery waste was rolling down the mountain towards Pantglas Primary School, where the innocent children were returning from the morning assembly. It was the last day of school before half-term. Unknown to the monster that was about to crush and suffocate them, the landslide of mud and debris flooded into their classroom just as they began their first lesson. Tragedy struck within seconds when the coal waste from the mountain above tumbled down the hillside, bringing with it mud and slurry. As word of these horrifying scenes spread, hundreds of people from the surrounding area flocked to Aberfan, desperate to help with the rescue. Hundreds of people stopped what they were doing, threw a shovel in the car, and drove to Aberfan.
We were taken up onto the hill just outside the school where it all had happened, and my first recollection was all the miners still digging, and obviously they were still searching, but I just didn't want to be involved in that. It was just too upsetting, and but what we did was we all joined lines and we helped out with passing of stones and buckets and whatever was gonna take away from the site. The feeling was so eerie, it was really upsetting, and how we got through it the first couple of hours when we got on the site was incredible, to say the least.
Many miners walked up the valley from the colliery to help. As people arrived at the scene, they could hear the cries of those still trapped on the fringe of the coal waste.
How are the children that you have got out, the ones that were alive?
Oh, well, they look terrible, and that's all you can say. It looked ghastly, They had been given morphine with the doctor, and they were just taken away.
Have you got anybody in the school?
Yes, a little boy.
And how old is he?
10.
Do you know what's happened to him?
No, I'm afraid he's underneath the rubble.
What time did he go to school this morning?
Oh, 9 o'clock.
And what time did you hear about this? Did you see it?
The little girl came home about 20 past 9 to 9:30.
Has anybody been able to tell you anything about what's happened to your child?
No, nothing at all. Nothing.
How long are you going to wait here now?
Until I see what has happened to him.
There were some actual mine rescue men digging a hole in to get 2 boys out. We got the one out, but then we had to drop in on top of the other. There's no chance, they're completely dead. There's no...
As the afternoon went on, we wasn't told how many children and women and whoever had died that day. We weren't told how many had suffered.
144 people died that day, 116 of them children. Although some 145 children survived, sadly no one was pulled out after 11 a.m. on the day of the disaster. It was nearly a week before all the bodies were recovered, even though parents, colliery workers and the rescue services dug frantically to try to locate survivors. Many of the local miners shoveled to get the debris clear and worked non-stop for 10 hours. A mass funeral was held on the 25th of October, and the children were buried on the hillside.
To everybody in the house and in the street and even the nation at the time, it was one hell of a shock.
The Aberfan Disaster Fund raised over £1,750,000 from donations poured in from all over the world. Only £50 was donated directly to the bereaved families. The black billowing mass, 40 feet high, demolished a terraced row of houses in Moy Road. It also took the lives of 116 children between the ages of 7 to 10, 28 adults, 5 of them teachers. The roots of the tragedy were in Merthyr Vale Colliery. Waste from the mine was dumped at 7 different sites around the village. The tip that caused the disaster, Tip 7, was started in 1958 and quickly became a cause of concern for its neighbours.
They've been called murderers, responsible for what happened, which is nonsense. I mean, that's all he was paid for, and like myself was tipping for the muck. Quicker you get rid of it, the better it is for you. I mean, as far as the safety of the tip is concerned, there's nothing to do with us.
Flooding and small amounts of slippage were a common occurrence, caused by the natural spring under the tip.
Well, we walked up there this afternoon and the water's coming down what we call the Roo, and it's flooding down, and it's never been like that before. We were talking to a workman and it's been diverted there from the tips now since this disaster. So there must be something wrong up there. There must be water there.
Parents and families of Aberfan desperately battled the coal board and government to get rid of the remaining tips.
Well, it's a constant reminder of the way my child died. The tons of earth that fell on her, there's tons more there waiting to come down on other children.
Because we don't feel that we will be happy in Aberfan again.
As the National Coal Board refused to accept full financial responsibility for the disaster, the people of Aberfan were forced to pay out over £150,000 for the removal of the remaining tips that overlook Aberfan. Families were torn apart, children and parents separated forever. The heart of the village had been struck a blow from which it will never recover.